Hiya, welcome. I'm going to do another wish list today. And I was thinking about all the movie franchises, the film franchises that have come out, which we know there's been a hell of a lot, but the ones that haven't been licensed by Funko for a pop range. And with this being a wish list, obviously these are just my own personal preferences, my own personal picks. You may have others, and please let me know in the comments what those are. But without further ado, this is my top 5 most wanted Funko Pop lines of movie franchises. Kicking off, as is traditional, with number 5. And I've gone for one that I think I would probably be in a very slender minority of people wanting this movie series licensed. And I've gone for what is unofficially known as the Robert Langdon trilogy. You know the ones, there was the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and then Inferno. Is there going to be a fourth? I know the books by Dan Brown in which they're based on, which I've never read. There's, 6 or 7 of those, I think? I don't know. I'd imagine there's potentially more movies to come. These films are quite Marmite-y. Marmite is a product in the UK for those watching who aren't familiar with it. And you either love it or you hate it, and that's kind of what happens with these Robert Langdon movies, these Dan Brown adaptations. Some people find the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and Inferno kind of too slow paced, and they're not happy with the dialogue. Personally, the Da Vinci Code, I really enjoy it, and Angels and Demons as well. Inferno I've only seen once and I wasn't that impressed, but I think I might have been distracted. I've just bought it on 4K Blu-ray to go with the other two in the series, and I'm going to watch it again very soon, possibly tonight actually, and give it another critical look. Not critical, I'm not a critic. Overall, I do like the films, particularly the first two in the series, and a Robert Langdon pop, why not? I don't know how big a sell it would be, but it's Tom Hanks, one of the world's biggest movie stars. That's my number 5. Take it or leave it. Number 4, I've gone for Dumb and Dumber. Now, Dumb and Dumber, of course, is a series of movies, really. For a long time, it was just one film on its own, the 1994 or 95 original. Absolute classic, sort of gross-out comedy movie, really. Of course, it starred Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. There was a prequel, which I thought was alright. It always gets terrible reviews, the prequel. Dumberer and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. I've got it, and I think I've watched it once, and I thought it was watchable. But it wasn't as bad as people made out. And of course, many years later, Dumb and Dumber 2 came out, which I really enjoyed, actually. It was never going to be as good as the first one, and I think a lot of critics really slated that. But it was great to see those characters back after, God, 20 years nearly. And it was unusual to see Jim Carrey do a sequel, because as far as I'm aware of, he's not one for doing sequels, apart from Ace Ventura, of course. But Harry Pop and a Lloyd Pop, what's not to love? That original 1990s Dumb and Dumber film is just an absolute masterclass in kind of stupid, zany, gross-out comedy. It's one of my mum's favourite films, and my mother is famously someone without a sense of humour, so if it can make her laugh, and proper belly laugh as well, then it must be doing something right. That's my opinion anyway. The Dumb and Dumber series at number 4. Number 3, I've picked a series where the first film, when people are asked, certainly people in the United Kingdom, what's the best British film ever made, then most people are going to say, oh, it's this one. And I've gone with the Trainspotting series. I say series, there's only 2 films in the range. There again, long gap between the first and the second. Trainspotting released in, I think it was 95, maybe 96, based on a book by Scottish author Irving Welsh. Just as far as a British cult indie film goes, it's great, and it's certainly one of my favourite films of all time. Top 5 for me, certainly. It's harrowing in places, it's funny in places. You run through the whole range of emotions watching it, and it just remains an essential watch for any film buff to this day, really. And the sequel came out about 20 years later. Same director as the first one, Danny Boyle. Pretty much most of the same cast. There again, I've only watched the sequel, Trainspotting 2, once, and it was good. I enjoyed catching up with these iconic characters again after all these years, but it just lacked that kind of grit and grime that the original had. And I guess, I don't know, your technique for making a British indie film in the 90s was different then, and now you've got your better cameras and better production values, and you've got Ultra HD, blah blah blah. And I suppose Trainspotting 2 couldn't really look as gritty and as kind of dirty as the original Trainspotting without them doing it on purpose, and then people think that was quite cynical, really. Some iconic characters in Renton, played by Ewan McGregor, Begbie, played by Robert Carlyle, Sick Boy, played by Johnny Lee Miller. Could go on. Kind of an ensemble film series, really, although arguably Ewan McGregor is sort of the main character in both films. But if you've not seen Trainspotting, then you're really missing out, and I'm going to watch the sequel again. There again, I've got it on 4K Blu-ray, and I've only seen it once so far. Some Trainspotting pops would be great, so that's my number 3 pick. Number 2 of the series of movies I'd like Funko to franchise is the American Pie series. I feel like I've not grown up on American Pie because those films started coming out and I was 19, 20, so I wasn't a kid, but I was still young regarding adulthood. So funny. The thing with American Pie is they're so of their time. That kind of late 90s, turn of the millennium era when the first one came out. And how many films has there been in the range? There's been 4 proper American Pie films. American Pies 1, 2, 3, brackets The Wedding, and number 4, The Reunion. And then there's been some of those straight to DVD spin-off type things which are all linked together as part of the American Pie canon by Jim's dad, played by Eugene Levy. There again, whenever they're shown on television, like American Pie Presents Bandcamp, etc., they're always slated by TV/film reviewers. But they're alright, they certainly kill an hour and a half. But the proper films, you know, with Stifler and Jim, all the rest of the original cast, it's a great snapshot of this kind of early millennium, early 2000s era, where the internet was getting more widespread, but well before social media. And this is how school kids, this is how teenagers are. I mean, it's not, it's an exaggerated version. I mean, it'd be so funny if there was someone who was really like Stifler in real life, but I've never met him yet. I'd like to, I think. Funko always say everybody's a fan of something. That's like one of their slogans, and they've proved, obviously, with certain lines that they're going to go well back into cinema's history and really old TV and really old advertising and cartoons, etc, etc. So they're catering to fans of all eras, and I think American Pie's of kind of a particular era, and I think the films have dated pretty well, but obviously if they were remade today in 2018, almost 2019, Happy New Year if you're watching this in 2019, then I think they'd look a lot different. And I think a lot of the humour in today's kind of cultural climate, I don't know you'd be able to get away with, but so funny, the American Pie films, and a big ensemble cast again. You could make a wide range of Funko Pops from these guys, and who doesn't want a Stifler Pop? Or even a Stifler's Mom Pop? So the American Pie series at number 2, and the number 1 pick for my most wanted Funko movie franchise line is Friday. Yes, the Friday films, the Friday trilogy, if you were. Ice Cube, obviously creator, executive producer, and importantly main character, main star of the Friday films. Starting the first one, an absolute beauty of a comedy film with Chris Tucker. Mike Epps became his co-star in the second one and the third. I heard they were supposed to be making a 4th. Does anyone know if that's still happening? I'm not sure. I don't follow film and film news as much as TV, really, and wrestling, obviously. I kind of get out the loop regarding the rumour mill, regarding movies and things. But the Friday films, just funny, quotable, some fantastic characters in there. This could be a, you know, just me saying, oh, these are the films that I like. Oh, by the way, there should be Pops made. But I do genuinely think all 5 of these franchises would make great Funko Pops in their own way. Whether they'd sell very many or not, that's not for me to say. There was Friday that came out in, was it early 2000s? And then next Friday, another great film, good sequel, came out a few years afterwards. And Friday after next, the 3rd film, it's alright. It's not as good as the first 2. Nowhere near as good as the first one, and not as good as the second either. But it's alright, it's still got some funny bits in it. Some really funny characters who make brilliant looking pops in the Friday series. Has Ice Cube had a pop made of him because he's been in other films and things? I can't think. If anyone knows, then please tell me in the comments. Craig's dad, of course, I can't remember the actor's name, but he is, I just love him. He just makes me laugh so much, particularly in the second film. I mean, it's funny in them all, but I don't know, just in the second one, he just makes the film for me. So that is my top 5 of most wanted movie lines, movie franchise series that I'd love to be made into Funko Pops. And you never know, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm certainly going to keep my fingers crossed as well. Not my toes though, because I don't roll that way. Thank you for watching everyone, and thank you to everyone who's subscribed and who enjoys any of the content on my channel. Much appreciated. As you know, we've got a fantastic giveaway coming up. I'm really hoping I receive the giveaway prize this week, because as soon as I've received it, then I'm going to showcase it in a video, and that's going to have the instructions on how to enter. Look out for that. I can't say exactly when the video is going to go up, but as soon as I've got that prize in my hand, I'm going to do the video, and then it'll be the giveaway once I've hit the 250 subscriber mark. So really excited about that, and I hope you are as well, and please enter it when it comes, and also share that video or any video of mine, my entire channel, with anyone you can think of who might be interested in Funko and music collecting and other silly, daft, stupid videos that I do. I'm not an exclusive Funko channel, as you know. I like to do a mixture of stuff, but I do enjoy doing these Funko videos. I enjoy doing these wish lists as well, and I'm going to have to put my thinking cap on and think of the next Funko Pop wish list to do, the next top 5. But thank you again. Social media usernames and Stashpedia username, they're down in the description below. Thanks everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!